If you don't love your business anymore, if you wake up kind of dreading the day ahead and you don't actually love what you thought you would as much as you used to, then this video is going to teach you exactly how to fix that. So as we scale our companies, it's really important to understand that like things change. We take on different responsibilities, right? Especially as like founders, we are required to do so much more than like just what we coach on, right? And I see a lot of coaches, they're phenomenal coaches, but they're not phenomenal business owners because they just don't have a ton of experience actually running a real company yet, right? And so there's a distinction that we have to make, which is when you're starting out, you're in the startup phase, right? So you're in the startup phase down here, and that's where you have to kind of just do everything. You're grinding it out. You're probably spending most of your time doing like marketing and coaching and stuff like that, and sales. But then to scale up, you have to do things differently, right? You have to kind of audit your calendar and figure out what's actually moving the needle forward, right? And as you make more and more money, then you have more capital to send towards building systems or team members and stuff like that too, right? And as a result, what happens is you need to kind of like reshift your priorities and your time, because what happens when you first start out, like you're doing certain amount of things, right? And then from there, what happens though, like as you start to grow and get more busy, start working with more clients, and maybe you're running ads, you have like way too many leads to even handle and deal with, then what happens is it starts to get bloated and it starts to overflow onto your calendar, meaning that your calendar just stacks up with all the stuff that you got to do, right? And because you're probably like a one-man show, or maybe there's like 1, 2, 3 team members, right? You still have to, like somebody has to get the stuff done. And usually it's you. And especially from the start, it has been you this whole time. But what happens to a lot of people that I see, a lot of coaches that grow a business that they end up hating and kind of resenting, it's because they've let all of this other stuff, all these other tasks creep onto their calendar in their day-to-day. And what happens is you slip out of your zone of genius, which got you the initial success, and into kind of just like a reactive state where you're just doing busy work all the time. So you're really busy and you're doing a lot of stuff, but you're not actually producing the kind of leverage output that you should be in order to actually scale. So here's how I fixed that, because I grew my business to a point where I was making $100,000 to $200,000 a month, but I really just didn't love it anymore. I kind of got burnt out, lost the vision. I was like, what's the point of all this, right? This isn't even fun anymore. I'm like, I should just go back to being a one-man show, profit everything, and just like kind of simplify things. And then I was like, no, I just haven't developed the skill set as a leader and an entrepreneur to actually deal with this at scale. And so upon talking to some of my 8 and 9 figure mentors, this is exactly what they shared with me. This is what they do every about 6 months. And it helps keep them really just locked in and dialed in all the time, and make sure that they're actually doing things, and that the energy that they're putting into their business is actually leveraged significantly so they can scale very far. So step one, what you want to do is you want to do a time audit. You want to do a time and energy audit, right? So what you want to do, first place to start, is literally just like open up your calendar. I use Google Calendar. It's just very simple, and it connects with all the softwares and everything I use, and like most people use it. And then what you want to do is just like time block it, or not time block everything, but for the next 7 days, what you want to do is just like write down maybe every 15 to 30 minutes exactly what you're doing, exactly what you just did, right? So if you spend 15 minutes just scrolling on your phone, write that down, put that in there, right? If you spend 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 2 hours recording content, put that in there. What about replying to messages on like to your clients? What about DM setting? What about on sales calls, coaching calls, like all this stuff, right? Admin stuff, checking your email, just getting back to somebody, making a phone call. Like put every single thing that you do every single day for the next 7 days in your calendar. And then it should be absolutely full, right? And you can do it like after you do the thing, you can like kind of just say, okay, for the last 30 minutes, this is what I did, right? This is what I worked on. And what you want to do after 7 days is you want to go back and score every single thing that you did with a very simple, clear process, meaning red, yellow, green, right? So you want to like in Google Calendars, it makes it so much easier to do this because you can literally just like go to all these like tasks, or not tasks, you would want to put them as events. So you go to every single event that you added to your calendar, and you would just change the color to red. And red things are things that you don't love doing. You kind of resent them. They really don't, they don't light you up, they don't inspire you, and they're just like not fun to do, and you're probably not really good at them, right? But sometimes they have to get done, right? Yellow things are things that like you don't mind doing, right? They got to get done, and like they produce some degree of output that's okay, but they don't light you up, right? You don't absolutely love doing them. But then the green things are things that fill you up with joy. They fill you up with excitement. You're like super excited and fired up to do these things every single day. They're extremely fulfilling. They're extremely rewarding. Usually they're like pretty leveraged as well. And usually like you're exceptionally skilled at these things too, right? And it's going to be different for everybody, so it's kind of hard to give examples, but I will tell you kind of the results of mine. Like the red things are like being on calls all day. Like I really don't like being on Zoom calls, right? I've done it for the last like 3 years where I'm just on like 8 to 10 hours of Zoom calls every single day. And then now I'm kind of just at the point where I'm like, that doesn't, like, it's not fun anymore, right? I did love it at one point because it was good to just kind of like really dial things in and just like master like sales and coaching and stuff like that. But now like it's not as fun as it once was. So I'm at the stage where I'm like, okay, I want to be on as few calls as possible. So now I'll save kind of what I did, but I'll go through the red, yellow, green really quick, and then I'll tell you how I optimize things. So first of all, I marked all the stuff that like I just really didn't like as red. And so this is also just like other tasks, like admin stuff, and like get back to emails, and like, I don't know, just being on Instagram and shit like that, right? It's just like not that fun. Even sales calls, it's like if somebody's like giving me objections, I'm just like, dude, do you like being broke? Like, yeah. So anyways, I just don't have the patience for that anymore. So I'm like, okay, it's not fun. I don't love it. And I frankly, I don't give I don't really care either whether or not somebody signs up, because like I know that they're just, yeah. So anyways, I'm over that phase. I'll leave it at that. There's people out there that are way better than me at those things. So yeah, yellow things were kind of like, yeah, again, things that like I'm like good at, but I don't absolutely love. And a lot of this is like editing content, kind of the content. Content's pretty fun, not gonna lie. But yeah, just like things that are like average, things that are okay. Like tons of one-on-one calls with clients, especially like kind of diving into the weeds of like appointment setting and sales and stuff like that. It's like I can do it, and like I'm pretty good at it, but it doesn't absolutely fire me up and light me up, right? But then the green things, the things that I do love doing is actually like recording content. But the number one thing that stood out was like I love just going to a coffee shop in the morning for like 3-4 hours and just get like so much stuff done. And not just like a ton of like tasks and stuff, but just like deep focused work where I'm just like locked in and completely dialed in, creating, building systems, kind of documenting things, even just journaling, right? I just love doing that because it's like working on my mindset, working on my vision, and actually doing things that move the needle forward, that actually turn my vision into reality, right? That stuff fires me up. I love doing that. Like I wake up, I'm like, I can't wait to go to a coffee shop today and just get this deep work stuff done, right? I love the coffee shop, especially because like, I don't know, it's easy to kind of just get lost. Like if I'm at my desk all day here, it's like, it kind of gets repetitive and boring and stuff like that. And so anyways, yeah, I love just going to a coffee shop. It's kind of the same principle, same premise as like when you go to the gym to work out, you're there to work out, right? You don't slack. But like when I'm like trying to train or like work out at home or something like that, I'm like not really fully into it. But when I'm at the gym, I'm like an animal, right? And the workouts are way better and stuff like that too. Same kind of thing with my deep work. I can just get way more done when maybe it's something to do with like the social pressure to just like not dick around in front of other people. I don't know, but it works, right? So I'm just playing the game the best way I know how right now, and that works for me. So I love doing that, right? It's just so much fun. and I look forward to it. I'm like, I can't wait. Leave my phone in the car and just like go in, just blinders on, and just like build stuff and just like and create. Like it's there's nothing better. So I have to optimize my calendar for that, right? So now that we did the audit, we red, yellow, greened it all. Now what we want to do is actually do something about it. So I got rid of all the red stuff. I hired an executive assistant. So she handles a lot of the red stuff, the admin stuff, kind of like managing my calendar, the day-to-day stuff, kind of like onboarding clients, sending invoices, organizing all my emails, and like sending stuff to my accountants and stuff like that. And like all that stuff is like it kind of has to get done. I'm like, I'm not good at it. I don't like it. It's just like I don't want to do it, right? And so I found somebody who does want to do that stuff, right? She loves that stuff. She gets my groceries. She does all this other stuff, and she's amazing, right? She organized an entire trip where there's gonna be 28 of us in Marbella, Spain, for 7 nights, 8 days, at a mastermind that I'm hosting, where all my clients and my team is gonna be phenomenal. And she planned the whole thing, right? And go like hundreds of emails with like the concierges and everything else. I'm like, that sounds like hell to me, right? I don't want to do that. So she does. She loves it. It fires her up, and she's way better at it than I am. So it's like perfect. And so, anyways, I got rid of all the red stuff. I don't do that anymore, right? Instagram DMs, I don't like hire a setter, right? That's what I teach. So it'd be like contradictory if I didn't do it myself. And same thing with a closer. I teach my clients how to hire sales reps and closers so they can sign more clients and like kind of get themselves out of the sales positions, right? So they can actually focus on things that they're better at, that they enjoy a lot more, and that actually move the needle forward, right? So it would be contradictory and out of alignment and integrity if I didn't also have a closer myself, right? And kind of like what I was saying before, it's like I don't love sales anymore, right? I did at one point when I was a sales rep and a closer. I studied nothing but sales for like 2 years straight. I loved it, right? Every little aspect of it. I got like autistic with it. But now I'm like, okay, like I just don't have the patience for it anymore. So I hired a closer who's way better at it than me. He cares so much more about it than I do. He is willing to fight for prospects for their success because of the level of results that we get. I haven't seen anybody else in the industry get the level of client results that we do consistently on a day-to-day basis. I haven't. Even the program's 10 times bigger than mine. It's insane, right? So anyways, hired a sales rep, hired a setter, even hired a client success manager, right? For kind of like client services, getting back to clients and responding to them and like kind of digging really, really deep, hopping on lots of one-on-one calls and stuff like that, right? And so what that does is, so what I've done is like we have 5 group coaching calls every single week, 1 every single day, Monday to Friday. I do 2 of those, and then I have 2 sales coaches. Both are absolute weapons. One's my sales rep, and the other one is a client who went from 0 to about $80,000 a month in the last 7-8 months since we started working together, which is really cool. Anyways, he's taken over 7,000 sales calls and helped people sell over 100 mil of coaching. He's an absolute weapon, right? So Austin and Matthias are way better at sales than I am, and they love it way more, and they care about it way more than I do. So it's like a complete win-win for them and for my clients and for me. And then my CSM, Eduardo, he used to be a setter, and he scaled a performance coaching business to like 20, 30K a month as well. And so he loves getting down in the nitty-gritty, working really closely with people and diving in their DMs, working with their setters, and just turn them into absolute weapons. They can pack up their calendars and just go nuts and just make a shit ton of money, right? Quite frankly. So he hosts an appointment setting call every single week. And with the setting and the sales calls, we encourage our team, or we encourage our clients to bring their team members onto those calls too. So like our clients' setters get onto our setting coaching calls, and we turn them into absolute weapons if they're not already, right? And so like I don't love doing that kind of stuff. I like more kind of talk about like higher level strategy, vision, leadership, system, stuff that I'm learning right now, right? Ads, right? I'd say I'm pretty fucking good at ads. I was just looking at my dashboard yesterday. This month we're at I think it's 19x ROAS, which is nuts, right? I need to spend more on ads. That's what I took from that. But anyways, long story short, like it's a complete net benefit because those are kind of stuff that I don't love doing and I'm not the best in the world at. But I found people who are, and it's just a total win-win-win all the way around, right? So that's kind of like the yellow stuff. Now and then like with the green stuff, the things I love doing the most is, like I said, going to a coffee shop in the morning, and just getting a ton of deep work done, get laser focused, locked in, and just be creative. Sometimes, like yesterday, I literally just whipped out my journal, and I just journaled for like 2 hours, and that was it. And I'm just like playing around with these different mental models. I'm creating stuff. I'm working on my workshops for Spain for my client retreat as well. And it's like, and then also building out some others like back-end systems for myself and my clients, and like new ads and like all that kind of stuff. It fires me up. You can probably see how I'm talking about it right now versus how I was talking about the other things. My tonality, my energy, it changes. And so anyways, I set a very clear goal, or not a goal, I set a very clear rule for myself that I do not take calls in the morning, ever, non-negotiable, because my mornings are sacred. My mornings are for me and for my green things, which is every single morning I go to a coffee shop and I get shit done. I journal, right? Whatever I planned out tonight or today, I will do tomorrow morning, right? Plan tomorrow today. That's another really good thing too. So you don't just go there and you're kind of fucking around, right? Wasting time. We don't want to do that. It doesn't help anybody. But sometimes it's good to kind of just be free and just be in creative flow, right? And since I kind of got out of the startup phase, now I'm in the scale up phase. One sec. Excuse me. I get paid based on, I get paid in proportion to the quality of my thoughts and my intelligence and my experience, rather than like my hard work and like my hands. I get paid for my mind instead of my hands and my time, right? So as a result, I need to optimize my calendar for that, because one of my mentors, Dan Martell, he says that your bank account is a reflection of your calendar. He's like, show me your calendar, I'll show you your bank account, right? So what you want to do is you have to optimize your calendar and your time and your energy for the things that actually influence your bank account. And so, yeah, I don't take calls in the mornings, right? And then also my executive assistant, one of her jobs is to safeguard my time and energy and my calendar, right? So not only because sometimes I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I don't need to do that tomorrow. Yeah, I can take a call with this person or whatever. And then she's like, no, right? Everything goes through her and she's the filter. And I'm saving myself from myself through her. And it's amazing, because sometimes I can be my own worst nightmare, right? I can be my own enemy sometimes, and kind of compromise on the boundaries and the standards that I set, right? But when you have systems in place to prevent that, then it makes things so much easier and smoother to go according to plan, right? And so, anyways, that's exactly how I manage my time and my energy and my calendar to run a 7-figure business. That's how I come up with ideas for content. That's how I come up with ideas for my program and making it better, and building systems and just giving my team what they need to achieve their goals and their vision as well. And just to actually scale up and grow my personal brand, make a bigger impact, make a lot more money, stuff like that too, right? So you want to optimize for the green things, kind of offload and delegate the yellow things as you can, right? Sometimes the yellow things you can't immediately get rid of, but all the red things, you should absolutely get rid of them as soon as possible. And usually you can find somebody who's better at them than you, who loves them a lot more, and usually it's pretty cheap as well to do that. And as a result, you're going to fall back in love with your business. You're going to fall back in love with your lifestyle and your routine. It's going to feel fun again. You're going to feel inspired and fulfilled, because you're actually doing stuff that lights you up and fills you with energy instead of drains you. And that is how great entrepreneurs and CEOs operate. And that is how they build 7, 8, 9-figure companies. So that's it for the video. Quick action steps to recap. You want to do a time and energy audit for the next 7 days. So you want to write down every single thing that you're doing in your Google Calendar over the next 7 days, everything, right? And then from there, you want to categorize each thing, go back, red, yellow, green it, get rid of the red stuff, try to get rid of the yellow stuff, optimize for the green stuff. You might have to move things around. One of the things that I had to do as well is move some of my group coaching calls around. I had to change the times, push them back a couple hours, push back my team calls, right? And I had a hard time with this initially because I was like, oh, but I already made that commitment. I have to stick to it. But it's like, you can renegotiate agreements. And guess what? Nobody cared. It was totally fine. And now I love things way better, and I can show up much better. And this is a complete win-win for everybody. So anyways, that's for the video. If you like this style, if you thought this was valuable, let me know down below in the comments. I read and reply to every single one of them. That's one thing I do love doing still, and I haven't outsourced that. So let me know down below if you thought it was valuable. And if you want to see more stuff like this too, then let me know. I got you. But till then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.